Back with our daily push talk, and we actually have one of my good friends and somebody who is doing this thing out here in Atlanta, man. We have Ricky Brown, who formerly the social justice coordinator for former Congressman. No, sorry, don't get me get it right. Kwanzaa Hall. Let me get it right. But Ricky, how you doing today, man?
Great, man. How are you?
I'm great. One of the things I love so much about you, Ricky, and I think the way we first connected was literally talking about like your past, your history. Most people who know you would never know that you've ever had a background or that you've ever been incarcerated. So to start off by telling us a little about who you are, where you come from, and how you end up in the place you're at right now today.
Well, my name is Ricky Brown. I'm the owner of a company called Next Step Staffing. My website is nextstepstaff.com. I started at agency in 2010 to assist ex-offenders and veterans. I started out helping ex-offenders and veterans start coming through our doors, so we started that process of helping them as well to find jobs. I really started that business because I'm an ex-offender.
Right.
I served 13 years in federal prison. I came home in 2006 and just couldn't find a job, not a good job that would take care of myself and my family. But go back further than that. As I said, I served 13 years off of a 15-year sentence. And while I was in prison, I made up in my mind when I came home, I would be a better person for myself, my family, and my community. And hopefully I think we've done that. But the business has been doing very well. The staff and agency have hired now over 600 men and women
Wow.
who have been incarcerated and have coming home to try and get that second chance. And we're happy that we've been able to provide that second chance because I understand. I'm one of them. A lot of people don't understand the significance of assisting ex-offenders because we are still somebody's child. We're still somebody's brother, somebody's father or mother. And the statistics are really staggering. Over 700,000 ex-offenders like myself are released from jails and prisons every year, nationwide, state and federal. If you add those numbers up over the years, we now have more ex-offenders on the streets of America than we have in the U.S. Armed Forces combined.
Wow. That's
So-
crazy.
Statistic numbers don't lie because it's not a black and white thing when you add the numbers up, predominantly black, but when you add those numbers up, they're staggering. And I've been able to come home and turn my life around and not allow my past to determine my future. And I've been able to hopefully inspire people who have been incarcerated to come home and believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. If I can go to prison for 13 years and come home and run a successful business, then I think it definitely can be done. I tell people, if you can't get a job, create your own job. We all have some type of talents that we don't even realize we have. I remember taking a course when I was in prison. It was called Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. I don't know if you remember him.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember taking that class, and throughout that class, it gave me a purpose. And we all, I think, if we find our purpose, we all have some type of talent that we don't realize that we have a lot of times until we find it. We have to really dig deep down and find what we have that we can do better than anybody else. We have it. We just got to find it and believe that it's there. And so that class really gave me a real good outlook on my purpose. And I think if we all find our purpose in life, I think we'll be successful. I think our country, our state, and our city will be a safer place to live, work, and play. So I'm excited about the work that we've done. CNN has done a big story on us. All of the news stories have done stories on us. That's because it's a lot of people out here. I mean, judges, prosecutors, they have children who have made mistakes. And I'm a firm believer in second chance because, I was given a second chance. I had to take my second chance. I don't really think nobody gave it to me. I think I had to really, really fight for my second chance. And I tell people all the time, especially men and women who are coming home from prisons, that the true test of a man's character is his ability to overcome adversity. And I think if we could just overcome a lot of those things that has happened in our past and use that as a tool to go forward and be a positive, productive member of our society. So, hey, man, I'm just a brother that made a mistake, went to prison, came home, and got it right. And,
one of the things I love so much about you is that you and I both have that same, that same story, right? Now, mine wasn't 13 years, but it was the same story. And one of the things I never have forgotten, two things I've never forgotten. I've never forgotten the number that they stamped me with. Even to the day, if you ask me what the number is, I can tell you to the T.
I still remember mine, 442-68019.
Man, I remember it to the T. But the second aspect of it is walking out of that gate and realizing that the world has somewhat changed. And I've only did like 14 months. But even in that time of 14 months, like the world looked different to me. It felt different to me. What was that like for you, man, when you walked out those gates? Like, what was it? How did you look at the world?
Well, man, it was really a scary time coming home after serving 13 years off of a 15-year sentence. I didn't know what to expect. I remember when I first came home and I went to a grocery store, a lady was talking on a little box, and I didn't know what she was doing because so I kindly asked her what was she doing and asked her what that was because it sounded like she was talking to somebody, and I didn't understand because we didn't have cell phones back in my days. We had the beepers, and so that's how we communicated. Someone contacted you, they wanted to contact you immediately. They put 911 in your beeper. Right. Yeah. So it was sort of strange with that and people, man. People have changed. The world has changed. The people look at life differently from when I was in the streets. So it was a scary situation, but I figured it out, man. I'm a very keen guy, so I kind of, when I didn't know, sometimes I didn't even ask. I just figured it out. I just kind of kept listening and figured it out. But after serving 13 years in prison, man, it really takes a toll on you. Even when helping the veterans, people don't understand when you leave and you're away from society for a certain length of time, you get what they call separation anxiety. Mm-hmm. And when the military, they get, I think they call it PTSD or whatever they call it, but they get the services that they need when they come home. But we don't get those services as an ex-offender. We have to come home and figure it out, and one person, one step at a time, one voice at a time. But on the other hand, the military, they are able to take care of their people when it comes to that and get them the help that they need. And I think that's one of the things I work with Congressman Kwanzaa Hall and a lot of the other politicians is that's one of the things we've got to really, really take a look at. How can we provide a different type of services to ex-offenders who are facing the same thing that the military people are coming home facing. So, it's one of those fights that we're going to continue to fight, and hopefully with Black Push, we can, work together and make change. But hey, man, you got to be a strong person. I believe that I came home a stronger person, a better person, and I just made it happen, man. I don't even really think about a lot of times when I do a lot of things. I just do it. And a lot of people, kind of freak out about it. But hey, how can you do that after serving 13 years? But it comes the time where you have to realize, don't let your past determine your future, and figure it out. And you find yourself standing at the crossroads, figure it out which way to go.
Right. And for me, one of the things that has been amazing for me is to somehow to be a person now, like where I go from the person being on one side of the bench, right, to now being the person who has an ear on the other side of the bench. And what I mean by that is like how God allowed for my life to be so transformed that now I have a voice in these places that I never would have had a voice in. And I can go and represent people or a whole generation of people who may not have a voice in these places. And you're one of those people, every time I look on Facebook, man, you are doing something. You're at Tyler Perry's White House. You are in Carolina or Carolina doing something. I mean, you're constantly doing something. At Kwanzaa Hall in D.C., I mean, in DC working for a congressman, and most of us, some people who have no records can't even have the resume you have at this point. How does that feel like? What is that like for you?
Very humbling, man. It's very humbling that you would think that people will take what you're doing and really be inspired about it.
Right.
So it's very humbling. I remember when Congressman Hall gave me that position as a criminal justice reform coordinator. It was very humbling. Very humbling. We're still working on some things. Hopefully, we can get him back in office so we could work on some other things. But it's just a humbling position to be in. It's an unusual position for a lot of people to see me in those positions after serving 13 years in prison. But I just put it all on God, man. God is for you. Can't no man be against you. And I believe that if you continue to do, what God puts on your heart to do, like I said, I don't even think about what I be doing a lot of times. I just do it.
Right.
And a lot of people pay a big attention to it, more so than me. But I'm just doing God's will, man. I'm just doing my part. And hopefully if I could just do my part and be inspired to some people. I remember when I ran for office, I inspired a lot of men and women who are ex-offenders to realize that you could vote. And they realize if I could run for office, this man is running for office, so at least I can vote. And I was talking to Representative Dirk Jackson just on yesterday, and just letting him know, man, we've got to mobilize these ex-offenders to vote and get them into the political process and vote for people who can address our concerns and our issues. And so, hey, man, I'm just a guy that just, make it one day at a time, try and find somebody a job, because I found out that a job, something simple as a job, can change a person's life.
Yeah.
I even had a young man come in my office with his pistol, and he didn't come with his pistol to rob me. He came to his pistol just to let me know, hey, man, Mr. Ricky, man, you're the only one he seems like to be in out here to helping us, man. And he pulled up his shirt. He showed me his pistol. He said, hey, man, if I don't get no job today, Mr. Rick, I'm going to get me. I'm going to do what I got to do because I'm hungry. So I said, first of all, man, you got to give me that pistol. So I was able to take the pistol from that young man, and he's still working today over at the King Center as the grounds person over at the Martin Luther King Center. Bernice King gave him an opportunity. I gave her a call, and she gave him an opportunity, man. But just to think about what that young man would have done if he had not gotten that job. He comes back periodically and talk to me. He said, man, Mr. Ricky, boy, they don't even know, man, that day I was going to do something I didn't want to do. Just the fact that you gave me that job, you helped a lot of people. You probably saved a lot of people, probably saved my life. And so it's inspiring just to see young men and women once they get a job and how it changes their life and how it changed their outlook on life. Something simple as a job.
Yes. Hey, Mr. Brown, how you doing, sir? This is James.
Hey, James.
Right. I had a question in regards to education and how much of a role that played for you, both in and out of the system, and how that may play in the success or failures of those that you are out here helping.
Well, man, success, saying it's something that you have to just grab a hold of, man. And education is something that if you can't get a college education or real education, I educated myself. When it came to business, I educated myself, found out how to actually start a business. So I figured out how to do an EIN number, figured out how to do a Secretary of State, get my account open, got my business proposal together. So it comes to the point where we've got to stop counting on other people to pick us up when we're falling on the ground. We got to pick ourselves up. Right. And educate ourselves. If someone is not willing to educate us, we're not in a position to get pay for education. So in prison, I had a mindset of business. A lot of my roommates, that's what we talked about. On the yard, walking the rec yard, is talking about how we're going to do business, and so it all started from prison, from a mindset. Mm-hmm. And I think if we get the right mindset, that we could do it, and it could be done. And success is not something that's just given to us. We've got to go at it and grab it, man. And so education, I don't have a college education. I have a 12th grade education. I didn't go to college. I figured it out, and I think that I'm probably doing just as better as somebody that's went to 4 or 8 year college. That's because, I figured out business is, it's just business. It's numbers. Numbers don't lie. I figured out when I said, hey, listen, I'm going to start my business. I started out, I said, I want to hire 300 people. And I was really on the low end at that time. I said, I want to pay my guys $10 an hour. That was back then. I said, if I give them $10 an hour, and I build my business, a company, if I build them $15 an hour, maybe give them $10 an hour, my company makes $5 an hour. 5 times, 300, that's $12,000. If you work 8 hours a day, it's $40 a day per person. 40 times 300, that's $12,000 a day. That's $2.8 million. So I kind of figured that part out. I figured the taxes part out. I got put the right people, and you're only as good as the people around you.
True.
So I try to make sure that I get the right people. Something that I don't know, I try to get the right people around me. So it's all about figuring it out, man. Really being a person that could just figure it out. You don't have to worry about somebody and tell you didn't learn it. Figure it out. There's nothing nobody should know today that they can't know. Just Google it.
Right. YouTube it. One of the things I love to hear you say is almost every podcast I've ever done with you, you have a motto, and you always say, and I use it so much, you say that we don't want to rob, we just want a job.
Right? Well, it came from that young man who came in and had his pistol that day, and it kind of came to me, and he didn't want to rob, he just wanted a job. He didn't want to be on the block with a Glock. Right. He wanted to be on the clock. So that's kind of where we got that motto from. And I got a young man, Rock Flock is in the studio now, and they have taken that slogan and putting a song together now, talking about we don't want to rob, we just want a job.
Yeah, and through you, I've actually had a chance to meet Waka Flocka for the second time in my life. But it's amazing the work that you guys over there doing. I am at awe. Ever since I call you and you talk, you're always so busy, man. I don't even know how you even take my phone call still.
Well, man, a person like yourself, man, I feel that you're a very positive person, man. And when you call me, I try to make sure that I make time to sit down and talk to you, man. I am busy. I try to keep myself busy. I'm doing positive stuff, man. We're looking at trying to get a school in North Carolina in my hometown, where we can make that a state-of-the-art community center. So I'm always believing in giving back. You never forget where you come from, because you may have to go back where you come from. So I always try to, do as much positive stuff as I can, man. And hopefully, if I continue to do positive things, it would encourage other people to do positive things too. Never let your past determine your future.
Yeah, and we have a quote here on the back of our shirts here. It says that your past was meant to educate you for your present, not to define you for your future. So nobody should be defined by their past. But thank you, man, for taking the time out today to talk to us. If people want to find out more information about your business and about finding a job, where can they go to find out?
Well, you could go to our website. The website is nextstepstaff.com. Or you can email me directly. Email me your resume. My email is Ricky, RICKY, at nsscorp, as in corporation.org. That's Ricky at nsscorp.org. Send me your resumes. I got some great jobs out at the airport. Some of those jobs you can't be ex-offenders, but I do have some jobs where it's okay. They won't trip on a lot of things, but I have some great jobs at the airport. Some shuttle bus drivers. I have some positions for that right now at the airport. I have some baggage claim people jobs at the airport that we're looking for. Now those specific jobs there that have to be badged, you have to be federally background. So, and that's when I want to encourage people to get your record straight, man. When I ran for city council the first time, you remember they kicked me off the ballot because I didn't get my record expunged. So, but after that happened, I went and I got my record expunged. I got all those things off my record, and the guy that beat me, he died, as you remember. A few months after he beat me, and they had a special election. So by that time, I had got my rights restored, full pardon. But I think we need to really encourage people who have a record. Don't sit down and let you die with that record on your jacket, because you're gonna die, be living 3/5 of a man, just how they designed it. Mm-hmm. So let's make sure that if you qualify, get your record expunged, get back and on the right track, so people can't look at you and say that you're an ex-offender. When I got my rights restored, man, I felt like Juneteenth when the Negro was free. Didn't even know it. I encourage that a lot, man. And with that many ex-offenders on the streets of America, we could change elections. We could change a lot of elections around here. So we might make sure that we encourage that a lot. Get your rights back. Register to vote. If you're in the state of Georgia, you can vote if you're not on parole or probation. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't, because you can. And if we continue to do that and mobilize these ex-offenders, we could change elections and could finally get somebody to address our concerns and our issues.
Hey, and once again, I appreciate you for being on the show today, man. You guys will put the information for his website on the bottom of this feed today. Please check out his website. And for those ex-offenders out there, like he pointed out, who you want a second chance, that you want to work on getting your record expunged, or you may have some fees that you owe, please reach out to our organization at www.blackpush.org. Because we're getting ready to do a partnership now where we're getting ready to actually work with Representative Taylor to help people who may have warrants out there to get those warrants cleared up too. So go to our website, www.blackpush.org, find out more information. And thank you again, Ricky, for joining us today.
You're welcome, man. And I want to say to you, man, both you guys and Black Push, man, I take my hat off to you, man, for your organization and what you're doing, Sean, and in the community, man. And like I said, I have much respect for you, brother. And anytime you call me, man, you always know I'm going to be there for you, man. I got your back 110%.
I already know. Thank you so much, Ricky.
All right, brother. Have a great day.
You too.